Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Stefan Seguin, your sales coach. Today I want to share with you a tactic that can actually transform your discussions with your clients and actually help you close more. So what is this tactic? Well, let me ask you, have you ever been stuck in a situation where a customer unexpectedly throws you a challenge? In other words, they throw an objection at you, but an objection you never saw coming, right? What happened? What did you feel like and what did you look like? I'll share a personal story of mine. I was presenting at a customer site, and this was a public sector account that I had been working towards for over 6 months. And I wanted to get into that account. I wanted to position our solutions in that account. And I had worked tirelessly in order to make the right contacts, find out what their business challenges were, find out what the executives were looking for, what their vision, what their strategies were, and more importantly, what were their business pains and challenges and what was keeping them up at night and what they were looking for, what they needed, what they wanted. So I finally get the magic opportunity to be in front of that client and to present our offer. During the presentation, there was probably 6 or 7 people in the room, of which there was a senior leader in the group. And about at the middle of the presentation, that senior leader basically threw out a question that I did not expect at the time. I wasn't ready for it. I never saw it coming. And that question was, well, Stefan, looking at your solution and looking at some of the marketplace information, specifically around those who are using the type of solution we are using, and the solution you're proposing to position with us and integrate in our systems, the comments are in the marketplace that the solution doesn't work, and at the same time, it leads to massive cost overruns, not only in the resources, so the cost money-wise, but also in the time. At the time, I was taken aback, and I was looking like the proverbial deer in the headlight look. And all that came out was justification and essentially verbal diarrhea. Has that ever happened to you? Well, it wasn't a happy time for me at that moment. And I knew at that very moment, with the answer I provided, that I had lost my credibility, my authority positioning, and worse, I knew for a fact that I had lost that deal to my competitor. So, thinking on your feet is crucial and is so important in terms of you being able to address those specific questions that may come out of the blue, not expecting, even though you may role play the scenario with colleagues, and even though you may look for different potential responses and objections, but life is life and you can't come up with everything, all the answers or all the objections that may come out. So looking at that and looking at that strategy of thinking on your feet, how can you apply it? How can you use that? Well, here are some tips for you. In terms of the responses per se, when you get an objection like that, right? Well, you could respond back with another question. So in other words, a redirect. And that could be, for example, Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer, that's a great question. I just want to make sure I understand clearly what it is that you're looking for. And I then would reply back with the question that they asked me. And I would ask them, did I understand that correctly? So this little bit of additional time gives you time for you to think of a good response. It gives you some time to think about, process what just happened, but at the same time, come up quickly with a professional response. And it could have, one response could be simply afterwards, if the customer agrees that that is the exact question, it could be, that's a great question. At this point in time, I don't have that answer. However, I will get back to you before end of day today with that response or with that information. Does that sound fair? So when I've used that approach and said exactly those words that I'm sharing with you, most clients were in agreement and waited for my response back. So this is just to give you an idea of things you can do when you think on your feet. The other thing is, be in the present moment. Listen intently. Listen actively. Don't be, distracted. Don't have your phone on and ringing or buzzing. Shut it off. It's distracting to your client, but it's also distracting to you. But all this, when you take that into account and you use a redirection comment, for example, all it is, it's to give you time to give back a professional response. Now, if you found this tip useful, or if you've had similar situations that happened to you, comment below. Share with me what happened exactly. And I'd love to hear your story, read it, and then respond back to you. Now, if you found this useful, please like and subscribe and share with other people who might use this information to help them and their business. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you.